Hello,
Hello.
everybody. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome back,
If you're
and welcome
watching
back
now
to
or in the
our
future,
streak.
yes, our
Our
streak three in a row now.
overall, yeah, that's it's time to celebrate.
Yeah,
3 in a
yeah.
row.
It's definitely a new record this time. So
It is. It is. We shouldn't get ahead of ourselves, but wow, 3 times in a row.
3 times in a
It's
row.
crazy.
So how are you doing,
Yeah.
Stephen?
A bit tired, but besides that, I feel rather good. Rather good. Yeah. Short before the weekend. It is getting warmer here in Switzerland. So the last week was around 0 to 5 degrees with a lot of wind and rain. And well, it is getting better. And I'm more of a spring guy, so I like spring and somewhat the beginning of summer. Not real summer because summer here is like I guess 34, 35 degrees. So, that's just not my temperature. But yeah, how are you?
Well, tired too. It's one of those days where sleep didn't come easy last night, but the sun is shining and we have +5 degrees here in Iceland. It's blowing a bit, so
It's
it's slightly
almost
cold,
summer,
but
huh?
but the sun is shining. So yeah, it's lovely here.
Um,
So hey, good day. We have one from Germany hanging out. Matt. Well, you're probably gonna say that name more correct than
Matze
me.
Koch, but I guess it's
Matze.
Matthias.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
Koch.
hello
Hello.
there.
Yeah.
So I think last time, and I'm digging a bit slightly deep because it's been a full week since we were on stream. We were working on extending our rendered component type to inherit from component state, and that had some implications in a bunch of different places. I believe we ended last Friday with things compiling, but quite a few tests failing.
Yeah.
So I guess we're picking up from there, unless you want to do some housekeeping in the issues list for bUnit first.
That is a very good question. Oh, I was
If
right.
we
This is
have
Matthias.
anything,
Hi. I was correct.
let's see.
Well,
I
let me just go.
can. Do you want to share your screen first?
I can do that. I just have to find the buttons like every week again. Share
Yeah,
screen and then use the right one because I'm also someone else. So, yes. So you can see the screen. I guess it's
I
still a
can.
bit
Yeah.
too small. So let me fix that in a second. This should.
Oh,
You
sorry,
took
I
over.
stole this
Okay.
here. Yeah, no,
Uh
I
huh.
just wanted to
Uh
get
huh.
my screen shared also.
Nice. Okay. I do think if I see 4 days ago, and if my math is correct, last Friday until now is more than 4 days. So we should have a look at this.
Mm-hmm.
And here it is about WASM. So yes, I skimmed through that thing where about authentication. I guess as you already answered that, can you give a very small recap about that?
So so I think it's a well laid out issue, and it seems that the user here wants to write a test for a component that has specific dependency on the MSAL authentication bits. I'm not entirely sure why his actual component would have a dependency on that specific the remote authentication state in his component. I think there should be a high level abstraction he can just depend on, and then it doesn't matter if his component is on the server or the client or somewhere in between. But either way, the problem seems to be that our fake authentication state provider does not implement that specific iRemote authentication service that is part of that additional package that you might want to use if you are in WebAssembly. And my initial take, and he hasn't responded back, so I'm inclined to leave it there for now, is that, well, it's, he has a workaround first and foremost, but also I'm not sure that we would want to have an explicit dependency in bUnit on the where some remote authentication package, even though it's coming from Microsoft, it's sort of a third party. It's not. It's like an extension to Blazor. So we would have to take a dependency on that to get access to the iRemote authentication service interface, so that our fake service provider could implement that. So yeah, I think we'll leave it like that. He says he has sort of a
Yep.
workaround, a hack for
Yeah,
for
that's
this
fine.
for
I do
this
think
working.
so.
But I more left it open to, like, if he had some suggestions for improvements we can do on the current API, so that it's so his solution, his workaround doesn't feel as much as a hack. That would be open for discussion. But yeah, no response yet.
Well,
Oh, and we have my friend Kasper from Denmark hanging out. It's an old high school friend. So
hello.
good to see you again, Kasper.
I'm just thinking, wouldn't it? I mean, that's just a service container, and you can do whatever you want with that service container. You could, provide your own iRemote authentication service, the worst, and just, put this into the container, and then you should be good to go. On top of my head, isn't that probably not so
Yeah,
feasible for clients of our library?
No, I think what he wants is to use the fake authentication provider with all the nice, help methods there. But that does, and the problem is it doesn't implement
that
the
interface,
iRemote.
which is
And
obviously
as he says, they're bidding. I think it is very apt description that they are. If you scroll up, you can see his sample code or his example. So basically, the problem is. Does it just link if you scroll further up? Can't remember. Yeah. Oh yeah, he links. He says that basically, if you go to the DI for this package, the link, click on that, you will see the problem is that they are pulling out the authentication state provider, which we implement, and then they're explicitly
make a
casting
hard cast.
Yeah. So it's so that library is making assumptions that is not generalizable, apparently. So that's sort of where things break, because he wants to use our fake authentication state provider. So, but he had a workaround. So let's for me it's
Okay.
Yeah, I would wait to do more about that until he gets back to us, if he has suggestions for improvements.
Good. I'm absolutely fine with that. Speaking of which, I guess discussions, I'm not sure if there's something new. I don't think so. No. Last week, so I guess there's nothing new.
No, I think you responded to those last week.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there was some kind of I try out your solution, let you know about the results.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression, if you don't come back, I do think everything is fine, because otherwise people will come back and say like, hey, this isn't working as expected.
It is unfortunate sometimes when you have a good discussion going and then you don't hear anything, and that's fine, and people forget. I do that too.
That's also
interacting with open source, so that's completely fine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm inclined to wait one more week and then just say Marcus answer if someone comes across this discussion, and it seems the right way of doing things. So I'm more inclined to wait a bit. If he doesn't come back, I will just mark it as answer, so people know what to do in the future.
Absolutely.
Good. Yes, I do think we are good. There are no pull requests open right now. Oh, we have a magic number, 777. Isn't that the casino number? If you are into gambling?
I don't know. I know 666 is bad, supposedly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but we are 777, so jackpot.
Yeah. Anyway.
Good. Shall we go back to the code?
Yes, go back to the code. Do you want to drive today, or should I drive?
To be honest, I don't know where we are right now. Let me quickly increase the size here. Let's check. No, it was called Zoom. Let's check which tests are failing, and then we can go from there. Is this fine for you?
Well, actually, I do see. So I think there's a whole bunch failing, and I think it's more a fundamental issue, where if we find one fix, lots of things will start not failing, I guess is. the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know the lyrics. If you're 555, then I'm 666, but I unfortunately do not know the song. I'm trying. Can you give us a hint?
It sounds like a
I've
pickup line.
Okay. Also good to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
This is
here, well, we. Oh yeah, there was a deadlock
Did you pull
somewhere.
the last
Yes.
vib commit I just pushed? Yeah. Good. Okay.
Yes. Just to be on the safe side.
So
Exactly. The latest and greatest.
I would try to find one of, if you I tried
Yeah,
to
exactly.
run
I
the
will
test
just.
and they actually didn't complete. Just find one test that is fairly simple and let's just step through and see if we can figure out
To be
why it's
honest, that
not
seems
working.
simple.
So
Dynamic
well,
components.
not one of those. Even more simple. Like if there's a hello world, a kind of a test.
Compare. No, probably they're not that simple. Markup matches also. Well, what do we have here? Trigger.
As you can see, there's also many that haven't run, and I think that's because there's
Yeah, there's a deadlock right now.
So I think the wait for tests, there's some wait for tests that are still spinning because they're waiting for the test to complete. Because I think the problem is somewhere around that it actually doesn't produce any output. This rendering fails. So
but shouldn't it abort after 30 seconds?
Yeah, it should, but there's
No, I'm not.
tests.
No, even earlier. I mean, this one is just running and running and running.
I think we changed the timeout to 30 seconds, sort of as a static thing in our solution. So that's probably why.
Do we want to take this one here? Because delay fragments is just a task delay. I don't think
I don't want anything with delays in it, but I do think I found one. Hang on, I found one. There's one.
It was Slipknot, and it was a song. It was not a
Yeah.
pickup line, but we can make this as a pickup line. I will ask ChatGPT later. Can you make a pickup line out of that? I would love that.
Test 040 in bUnit context test. There you go, that one.
Should not throw. Render click count. That seems like simple, huh? So if you run this, exactly. Should not throw, but through element not found. So we have the click counter just to go through. That click counter has a P element, and if you increase it by 1, then obviously here should be a 1.
Yeah,
and it should obviously also
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It should obviously not throw anything when you click on that.
Well, it's throwing a message sort of indicating that it can't find the click button of the button element. So that says to me that we are not rendering.
Yeah. Probably we can just inspect the markup, and the markup will be empty.
So maybe start by just moving the render call outside of the, just so we can, give it a, exactly, there you go. And put a breakpoint on it and see what happens. So that test is sort of, okay, I guess we need that should not throw, because otherwise the test will tell us that our analyzers will tell us that we don't have any assertions. But
yeah, exactly.
An assertion
well, you could do something like
throw.
2 should be true or something like that, but this is really not great. Okay, so if we render once, should I just go through one time and then we make a deep dive?
Well, yeah, we can do that. So, but I want to see.
Yeah, render count is 0. That is.
And that makes sense. It's empty string. So I think if we go to, we started changing things in render component, and the whole where the component is updated, render cycle completed, that method. If you go into rendered component, find the render cycle completed method. Yeah, that should be called from bUnit renderer during the update display async. Actually, put a breakpoint. Let's start by that. Put a breakpoint on line 323 in bUnit renderer.
3.2.
323. line B323. At the entry point to
just the
update the
update. Okay.
spacing.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
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 And let's just step through when you run the test. Because
I'm
supposedly
in.
we haven't broken things so much that there isn't actually something in the render batch. So it's more about getting the render batch to the component.
Exactly. So this one is empty because we don't have this post component until now. That's great.
Okay. Step over.
So let's go. Updated components. That is good because there should be some.
That should be.
Well, 3. We have the bUnit root basically. Then we have the fragment container, and inside the fragment container we have the render, the counter.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So div render tree div component ID 3, which should be our counter, I think.
Yeah.
And return.
So let's see if our
there's also inside. That's good.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
So get
and we get it out. And that's the render counter. That's the actual component we want. Yeah.
Which isn't rendered until now, which is not so great.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously this will not. Yeah. That the render count is 0, I do understand, because I guess we forgot to set the initial render count to 1. So before that change with the rendered component state, we just created a constructor where this thing was incremented to 1. But now we don't do this anymore because we just, completely removed.
Did we go into the render cycle completed method? Did we actually go in and because we have that edit count is bigger than 0?
Let me do this again. Come on. Now I'm inside there. Okay, yeah, obviously that doesn't work. Sorry. I cannot go from this closure outside. Well, I could, but I have to go through everything.
Yeah.
Go. Good. Okay, we are here. I will remove this now because then we are here, and let's put. So we should go in here, and we go in here.
Should go if you can step into that render cycle completed method. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there we are.
What has changes is true. Are we disposed? Nope.
No.
We have changes.
This is true. That's why we go into.
Hang on. If has changes is false.
We shouldn't render.
Shouldn't we go? Yeah.
Shouldn't that be in here? This if doesn't make much sense, huh? When we don't change, why we should?
I think that should be. So let me just for the fun of it go to. I want to see on our, because there was a similar method in just before we made these changes. Let me just go and have a look. That would be rendered component. There we go. Let me see what the logic was before. Maybe there's so rendered count I think should be incremented.
In any case.
Yeah, in any case, because so you can, I think you can safely remove that and just.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, because if anything had happened, and so we should always.
Yeah, we only go into that if update display async, deems our components.
If it's
was
changed
part of
somehow,
the render cycle. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, if it has had any changes. Okay. So now we go into update method, update markup. Yeah.
Well, maybe I should wait.
Want to restart rather.
Yeah, man, that's on me. Yeah. Maybe I should not just change stuff while debugging.
I don't speak Danish very well when I've had 3 hours of sleep, and English is even worse. So I'll be fumbling around with the words.
Oh, that would be also next week, because if we make it next week, that's our big streak 4 times in a row. Maybe we should really do it like you do Danish and I try to understand.
Well, that's probably not going to be very entertaining. Well, it might be interesting. Mads, by
Okay.
all means, derail us. We might not get any work done anyway. Okay.
Okay, so we are in here. We have new markup, and the new
Yeah.
markup. Okay, so the markup looks good.
Okay.
That
So
looks
we
good.
actually have markup. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
And we can see
Yeah.
also. Oh, no, we didn't
No,
click.
no.
Sorry, we
No.
didn't click. Yeah, yeah.
It's completely expected markup. Yes. So we're gonna
Okay,
write
so
that back
we
to
write that
markup.
to that field. That is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fine. We do have changes.
Mm.
Wait, on after. Okay, exactly. Then we invoke this, and there is no one currently listening to that. So if we would
No,
have
that's
wait
fine.
for methods, then in theory we invoke those right now. But
Okay.
there's nothing. Okay.
So why does markup turn into being in the empty string? Because you
Yeah,
just wrote back to markup.
we are in the rendered component. So let me just check what this is. The markup. Okay, so the markup is still right.
There's definitely something in there, right? Okay.
So then we go in here. We go, through the other components, which is, yeah. Oh, I like that feature of Rider that you directly see that you will not go in there. Perfect. And then the last one, there were only 3 exactly. And also this one has basically no changes, so we can go safely out of that method. Which then, in fact, we are right now where? Process pending renders. So we are basically done.
Yes.
Um,
Okay, root ID.
Go
Fine,
out. The render task is completed because nothing asynchronous happens. So the component ID is. Yeah, that's the bUnit read
But that's
component.
the root computer. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, so what is the result now? So hang on. Hover result. We should have a component now. Be a root component. And it also
has the markup as expected.
Yes. Okay.
Because it's
okay. So continue. And then we go out there again, and then I guess we go and say find component. So if you do step into that, so I suspect that is actually where we have a problem. So, well, we want to go from parent component. We say find component, and
result new list. So we just initialize the list that we have a list. Result limit. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then we just go through our beautiful render tree. Yeah, go in. Go in. Okay. So here the magic begins, huh? Let's step through every frame.
Hang on, why do we need to do that? Why do we need to do that? Couldn't we just... No, we have to...
Because we do not know where that thing is.
Yes, but now that our render component is the component state is stored somewhere. So
well,
okay, anyway, keep stepping through. Let's see what comes up.
So now we have to go into the get rendered component. So frame component is our container fragment.
Yeah,
which is good because it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is what we're looking for.
No, it's not. Is it? I think we were looking for.
Wasn't here?
Wait. Wasn't we looking for the
container fragment?
Container. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. I guess fine.
Wait. Maybe that is the problem already. Why are we looking for the container fragment? It's rendered without the generic parameter. That's why. Okay, good. Yep. So that is true. Then, wrong button. Yeah, let's go in here. We have get component state of that component with the ID1, which is the component fragment container fragment. And
but I guess that doesn't have that's markup. That has an empty. That's markup.
Yeah,
its markup is empty, right? Which, okay. So because in our okay, I see what's going on. Can I steal the screen real quick? And I
Go
can
ahead.
Explain. Yeah. So Well, how do I explain this? So oh yeah, here we go. So in here, update display async. We have a list of returned rendered components. So if we go and have a look at that, that's our list of integers here. And let's see, find all references. Especially I want to know, when do we add? So we add to it when we initialize a render, like the initial render where we just add our root components. So that's always there. And then we add to it when we say get rendered component. And when do we call get rendered component? We call that from, again, the renderer. So we basically return that rendered component, and we call it, let's go in here, we call it during find component. Now, again, let me just go backwards. The problem is here, we call during update, where we get the list of components that have markup that has changed. We loop through that, and our update, our component here, we will go in and say return rendered component IDs, and if it does contain our component ID, we will go in and render that out. But the component that we end up returning back to the user, that is not in here. That would be the one that returns false, because we have, that would be the fragment container. So that component never gets to go through its render cycle completed and gets its get its state updated. So
Do we need the whole if?
Well, for now, if we comment this out and just do this, and let me find that test as well and put a debug. So, well, okay. So that's fine. Update. And
yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Well, just continue. So now all 4 components have updated and the test passes. So if we try to run all the tests. Now, it's obviously quite inefficient to re-render all, and there's still some components that are failing. Let me say, let's wait for.
Well, there was, oh no, but like the hash changes we removed as well in the rendered.
Yeah, I want to find that is. Here we have the, no, there's a place where we can set the default timeout, so we don't have to.
Yeah, that's not a test context.
Oh, that's right.
As far.
Oh, bUnit context.
No. Yeah, bUnit doesn't call like.
Wait,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Default wait. There we go. And I think we are setting that few places. Actually, let's just. Instead of doing this.
No. It's get runtime timeout. No, sorry. This is if you have a attached debugger. I'm sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah. I'm just going to do. I'm just going to override it. I'm just not gonna. I'm going to ignore the value that we set in our tests, so we don't wait for 30 seconds. I think that's an old debug thing we had. So actually, we can just do this. Come on. So just do nothing. Right. Yes, I know it's a mistake, but it's on purpose. And we can stop. And let me... Nope, that's not what I wanted. Run test in parallel.
What was it? Play a sound. You can play sounds if a test fails. I like that.
Yes, I actually used to do that. I used to have Homer say "don't" or "woohoo." Okay, let's see. It's
Well,
number of
only
failing tests are dropping. So come on,
almost come.
almost.
100 more tests. So in the worst case, just waiting 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely an improvement.
29. That's about. I mean, that's 129 is not true because we have two. Oh wait, we have .NET 8 and .NET 9, so it means that in one of those, we might have more tests in .NET 9. That's fair.
Okay, so I guess also if you look at the
this post.
that's definitely a pattern. Do not have a component, so that's certainly something. Now I do want to go back into here and just say there is a definite to do optimize this, because, for example, during the initial render, all the components down the tree will have different parts of the markup. But in reality, we just need to generate the markup. Hey, we have another one hanging out. Sorry, I just got distracted by the chat message coming in. So if you look at it, you have the top component in the tree. If we say, give me all the markup of this, or rather give me all the render frames for that, it's going to give you all of it. And we can run through that and basically build out the HTML markup for that. And then we just need to know which parts belong to which component. So whenever you have a change, you can just update in that specific place. But here we are essentially going in and generating markup for each component.
Yeah, but the problem is the returned rendered component is not really. Yeah, it's literally it's the root component you're asking for.
Yeah. So one optimization I guess we could be doing
just
is
read the chat messages. Oh yeah, from the People's Democratic Kingdom of England. Isn't that in the name then? Kingdom is already.
Oh yeah,
by definition.
I know Lee here as sequel Mr. Magoo, a Blazor sequel Mr. Magoo. But yeah, hello, nice to have you with us. Okay, do you want to answer that question?
We can have two identical components, one with each type of rendering at the unit test level. Are both components tested, or would it be redundant? Can you clarify what you mean with each type of rendering? Do you mean like Blazor Server and Blazor Wasm? Because this is what pops up in my head right now. At the unit testing level, are both components tested, or would it be redundant? So if we are speaking about one you're using in Blazor Server or SSR and the other one in Blazor Client /Wasm, yes, it would probably be redundant, but it depends a bit on the logic. Normally, your component will hopefully not have hard dependencies to either of those worlds. And then, yes, I mean, your component will behave the same way.
So I think each type of rendering, we have server-side rendered, like render modes in .NET 8, right? So we have like interactive server render, we have static server-side rendering, and we have
client side.
Interactive client-side rendering. If those are the modes that Andres is referring to, then it doesn't make sense to test if they're identical. Like if they don't have anything specific to one of the render modes, then it's completely fine. And you can consider bUnit its own type of render mode as it is. So
well, there could be maybe where there is a distinction is if you add something like the add render mode attribute somewhere. But it doesn't care about that very much. I mean, we know that attribute, but we don't have special treatment for that. So we don't care basically which render mode you're taking, because that's also none of your business logic. That's something Blazor does for you, but it's nothing which, well, more or less impacts your production logic. Yes, you have to come around the fact that if you use static server-side rendering, you cannot use just arbitrary button clicks to increase a counter. That will just not work, obviously. But from a testing point of view, it doesn't matter. Your component behave always the same.
Yeah. So I think that answers the question, but let us know, Andres, if you like more clarification.
Yeah, let us know if this answers.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking here is this update markup is not an inexpensive operation, relatively speaking, because we basically go through the render tree for the specific component and cycle through that and output some strings and do some markup changes. But many of the components that we have in the component tree, like not in this very simple test where we just have one component and then we have our root component and fragment container, they are never going to be returned to the user as a rendered component, which means they never need to actually, inspect the markup. They never need to look at the markup and to understand what's going on there. So it's redundant to do this for all components. So in a sense, our has been returned to the user list is still relevant. So I guess what we could do well, the thing is, sometimes we would return a rendered component after. Sometimes we would return a rendered component after. Okay, so I think if we do this instead. So the components we have returned, we would have to update the markup of them for now. But where we actually call the, let me see, I had that here.
This one is in the render inside the render lambda.
And I want the references. And
that's a bit of the
we have
problem.
add there. That's fine, but this one, I want to say, well, get rendered component. So this add method here will return false if it's already been added, or rather, it will return true. So if it does not, then
you want to call
then I can say my result dot what's it called? Wait a minute. This is a component state, so I want to cast that to a rendered component, or rather, might as well just cast it directly to what we want it to be cast to else. And because if it hasn't been returned before, then we know it doesn't have any markup in it, so we can do the
update.
Nope, not
it's not update markup.
No mark. God damn it! This one I want to call.
Render cycle completed an insight. Yeah. Oh, yes. So there was the question: if your identical components should behave differently if they are static rendered, wouldn't you want to test for that? For example, does it disable interactive things like buttons? Well, the thing is that in theory, yes, you probably want to test this, but we have to distinguish a bit between, do you want to unit test some hopefully business logic versus you want to have an end-to-end test. And if we are speaking in the context of bUnit, which would be the former one, so unit testing, that is a concern which basically you don't care about in unit tests. So the nuanced answer would be yes and no, and it really depends on your scope. And as Igor said earlier, we behave differently than Blazor Server. We behave a bit differently than Blazor Wasm or client side. A bit. We are not the same.
Yes and no. So I think that where we behave differently is the markup that we generate. We don't, like, for example, if you go and look in your browser and do, view source there, you will see a bunch of comments that the Blazor renderer in the browser will add there, so it knows where components start and end. Like it's basically so there's a whole bunch of comments. There's other things that gets added to the markup that Blazor runtime needs, but you don't. So what we do is when we generate markup, we will remove things that are irrelevant in a testing scenario. For example, the marker comments that are just noise. We will though output things like we have some custom attribute. We output a Blazor colon event handler ID, for example, which is one we use to know which event handler to trigger if you do a click event. So in that sense, we behave a little bit differently in that we generate slightly different markup in a safe way. But in terms of your components running through the normal component lifecycle, having
That's the
methods,
same. Yeah.
parameters injected into it, services and other things, all of that behaves exactly the same, or that is at least the goal. Otherwise, do raise an issue. So, yeah. So I think what I want is I want to say did render, and then I want to say
Yeah, because what I also meant earlier, where it behaves differently. So there is these exactly for those render modes. The renderer has a specific method, and basically we always create the same component. So it doesn't matter how you annotate components. We will basically create always the same component. So this is what I mean with it behaves differently than basically the client's part or the server or interactive part. It's a bit different, but yeah, as I said, the result at the end should be roughly the same, and how the chain is triggered.
Has rendered. Okay, spelling is hard, but if it has, so we will be calling some name of this method is not right. It's because we're using it in two different contexts now. Is markup changed? And then we have has rendered, and no, is markup changed? We can do
And then
that,
has
and
rendered.
then has rendered. I guess we want to call that like that. Now, this is not a good name in this particular case. Update component
state.
yeah, update state, because
because if you call it component state, exactly,
it's redundant to repeat the. Yeah, no, well, we are in the context of a type called rendered component, so calling
exactly.
state,
but also because it derives from component state, so it could go in the wrong direction if you read this.
Yeah, updates.
Did you rename that?
Oh no, I need to go in here first and then do this, and then we need to go over and get the signature over here and update that. So now we can say update.
Is there a reason to keep it in both interfaces? I'm just nitpicky right now.
I don't think it exists in both interfaces. I think we still need that internal interface because that's
sorry. I thought our non-internal interface derives, but obviously that doesn't work for obvious reasons. You cannot derive and be more visible. That makes sense. Sorry, my fault.
Nope, you are forgiven. That's rendered. Okay, and that is another place where we call this method. That's up in the that's right here. So update state, it would be, if it is updated, true, then it would be true, and then it would be do you have any changes? Is markup changed? And the rule there is it's considered changed if it is, and then here we just remove that.
Remove it.
Because we don't need to.
We need this hash set now anymore?
hang
Isn't
on.
that
Hang
now
on.
redundant?
No.
No, you need it.
I need it. But no. So what I want is I want to say if it doesn't exist there, we just say else. Well, don't. We still want to count how many times it's been rendered, which we do now, like this, right? So it's always precise every time we show up there. But we just say, I'll move that out here. So maybe change this to
It's
I
dirty.
want to have something like I don't want to do is markup generation required. Naming is hard, but basically we don't want to generate markup if we haven't returned the render component to the user yet. But as soon as we do, which we do down in that other method that also uses this, then we say, go ahead and generate the markup at that point. Now, this can be optimized even further, but this is actually back to the level we were at before where we would just generate the markup when we return the render component. But you can imagine that actually we only really need to have the markup generated at the root component, and then we could and I think I started prototyping that back a year or two ago. Then we just focus on update, like if we just render the markup for the root component first time, and then when a new component and then we somehow in that component store where using string indexes, where does the individual components markup start and end. Then we can just do like spans and refer back to the one time we rendered. And whenever we need to update the markup for an individual subcomponent, we just need to update in one place, and then all the other components will automatically get access to their generated markup. So we don't need to, but that's optimization for future us to deal with. So now I can just run all the tests again, see if we at least are back at if we stay at 190 129.
Well, we should be even better now because you fixed one of the issues.
No, I don't think.
Yes,
so.
you
I
call
might have
more
made things
the
worse.
update markup method. Well, okay.
Maybe. Oh, it was worse
Wait,
than before.
aborted.
I did the
Okay, aborted sounds very much like there might be a Stack Overflow somewhere.
might very well be. Ugh. Premature optimizations, everybody. That's the definition of it, trying to fix something before it's time to fix. Let's just do a .NET test. Oh, no, I'm not going to do it there. I'm going to open up a command line because this is too hard to read. I've installed an extension, but the coloring it uses is not great. Where did my thing go? Let's put you here and just do a CD. Hang on. What now? Where did you go? bUnit .NET test. Let's see if it crashes at some point.
Well,
I
it's really
like this
interesting.
new output from the console.
I also like that because it builds in parallel, your CPU is really under heavy load.
And the thing is, I don't have a bad one. Like it's
you have a
it's
few
it's able
cores
max
to
out
spare.
I have a little bit to give, but apparently it's still under pressure. Oh,
there
here we
was
go. Test
something.
aborted. Let's see.
Stack Overflow as expected. Rendered component. That sounds familiar. I have to say.
Let's see.
Inside render fragment goes to render, which
So
goes
we
to
call
get rendered
rendered.
component.
And here we have render child, render core, render frames. Let's just, that surprises me though. Let's put a breakpoint here and let's see which test was it that failed. It was, can we see that?
When this post components is it? Was on the right side.
It might
Now you're gone.
be,
Ooh.
oh, right side you said, sorry.
Yeah, it's written always on the right side. And that's why, can you go back? Was this post component something?
Yeah,
This
I'm
post
trying to
component
pull it
calls.
down.
This post component calls this post async on rendered components.
Yeah. Let's do a control T and let's find that guy. So debug. I'm not surprised though that this post components is giving us issues because that's one of the things that's definitely going to change.
Well, it
The
goes,
renderer
yeah.
does not have component with ID of 1.
Okay, so that was not
Okay.
this test
Yeah.
then.
Okay. So we have one. Is there? Okay. Well, we can start by fixing that. Try get component state.
Okay, but that is at least not the test which leads to the Stack Overflow.
No, but I do want to see if, so there's a protected get component state. Is there a one that doesn't throw? That would
Like
be
try get?
nice. Get component state.
I doubt though.
Oh, but
But
that's
they have a,
internal.
it's interesting, they have even get value or default, which indicates that, you know, it just returns as null object. Ah, well, get required. Okay.
Yeah, they call get required, which is then, but I want to have one that doesn't throw, essentially. This is internal, unfortunately. Okay. So no, actually, I know what's going on here. There's some. So when we get this, so this may be redundant if the renderer like dispose.
Because it's already gone.
If it's already gone. So actually, what we want to do instead is we want to say our rendered component. It has
so that's good
disposed
because
methods. I want to, yeah, exactly. So that confirms
exactly
our
that
thing.
should be called before we go in there. You
Yeah.
can even
So we
comment
just
that out, I guess.
We just do basically, well, I'm just going to keep this around and put a breakpoint here and stop the test. And we can just do debug last run. So if we hit this and our dispose method hasn't been called in the other method, come on. Are you doing a thing? It is.
It is.
Waiting for build
Is it
to
still
complete.
running from the last one? No. Oh, yeah, I guess it's still running
okay,
something.
No, it's no. I actually had build errors. Oh no, it's
Yeah, exactly,
yeah,
because it locks. So I do think there's still ongoing processes. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's try again.
Nope.
Nope.
Can you close your terminal? The other one.
I don't think it's that because I am in the clear here. No, I don't. I just think it's because it crashed. So let's just go in and kill test host. VS.
Both. Why not?
And yeah.
Whatever that is.
Go away.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
That was your active run.
Yeah. Okay, I can build now. So now I can do. Yeah, come on. and had to restart the services, I guess. Nope.
No, you still could not copy. I mean, you can make it yourself easy and go to .NET 9 and just use the .NET 9 version. Or you just restart Visual Studio, I guess.
So, well, guess here. Where is it though? The service. I usually be able to just go and kill it from here.
Is there some like pkill command on Windows
I think
that exists?
I just don't remember it. It feels like such a failure now, having to kill Visual Studio.
We can switch to VS Code with the C# dev kit. I didn't try it in a long time, but I know there were some issues with exactly test runners. So I'm not sure if this is fixed by now, but this is like half a year ago when I tried it.
Yeah.
What
was the name of
it does
the
something,
test?
doesn't it?
No, it's all good now. I just need to find the test name again.
Dispose should dispose. Do you have the console open? Often.
I think I killed it. Dispose. Maybe it was this one. Sure.
No, I guess.
Let's go.
But it doesn't matter. It's something with dispose.
Yeah, and it also has the same exception.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh no, it's truly really stuck. It's the .NET 9.
And now it's both. That's even better.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It even tells you the files logged by testhost.exe, but you know there was none in your task manager.
No, exactly. Raw process. Do I have Process Explorer installed? Help! Something.
Maybe make it. You could also just switch to release mode.
Here we go. I'm going to just kill all the .NETs. Go away. And see. Can I?
You can just build without test.
Yeah.
No. No, you cannot. It's really stuck.
File is logged by test host.
Which isn't even the thing anymore.
No. Interesting. So, come on.
You can commit this as a work in process, and I just pick it up.
Yeah.
Your call.
Yeah, no. I'm just ticked off right now. This is annoying. God damn it. Okay, I'm gonna push, and you can. I'm gonna share your screen, and I'll do my very best at finding a way to kill that process, which apparently doesn't exist.
Reboot.
Yeah. Process
Await dispose components async.
Just going to download Process Explorer and actually kill it like that.
Yeah, which one? It didn't even matter, huh? All of the dispose. I will just take literally the first one, because it really doesn't matter.
Maybe
I think,
maybe put some breaky points inside the dispose
method
or the dispose async method of the rendered component.
Yeah. Don't worry. Dispose. Here we want to be. I also want to have here to dispose async, just for good measure. And I want to have I know you removed that part. Dispose components.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
I am not sharing your screen. Here we go. Sorry, folks.
No, I was shared, by the way. I took over already.
Yeah, well, I just it was on my screen again, so maybe I accidentally clicked on things.
So I have a lot of breakpoints. I want to debug in. I'm feeling don't feel naughty. Only .NET 8. Okay, so I have one here. I do have one here, and I do have one on dispose async and dispose non-async. So it's building. Okay, and there we go. Okay, it minimized my screen for apparent reasons. Okay, so we are here. I don't care about this because this is the initial render. And here we go. Await dispose components async. So F10, and there we go. That's good. We are in dispose async.
So it did dispose our component first.
Exactly, and we can
Yes.
even.
Okay. Before we hit.
I just want to see from where it comes. Interrupt, monitor waits. Oh, shouldn't I see this in the parallel stack trace somewhere between all this external code? But it doesn't matter. We see we are attached here, and if I go, then obviously our dispose will be called. Oh, we will be called again. Are there multiple components inside? Okay. Okay, now we're here. Oh yeah, there are 4 components. Why are there 4 components? Let me quickly check. It could be true. It could be true. I expected 3 now. The call stack count should be 2. Oh, look, and this test is green again. And then we get called again. I would love to know which thread is calling us here, to be honest. That's unfortunate. I expected to see where we are called from, but that's...
I think it might be the XUnit runner that is calling. Right.
It's interesting that, exactly, but why the rendered component? And this post was false. So wait. What I mean is, so let me do this again. I guess it's nothing big, but I still don't like. I just want to know what's going on. So
I managed to get mine working again. I just did it in .NET Clean and deleted all the files, and then I was able to build afterwards. So I don't know.
Basically, we have in this test we have 4 components. We have the root component, we have the fragment container, and we have parent. And parent has also a child component. So basically, and that was absolutely right. We saw. So if we go here, I will just take, 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes absolute sense. I'm with that. So and then we are here, and things happen.
Okay. And it does the same thing for the 4.
Exactly. And if I go back to the test, let's put one breakpoint here because otherwise I will just fall out. Yeah, exactly. We do this 4 times here. Everything nice and dandy. And obviously, so this test passes, and now everything should be disposed because that's literally what the component says. The component, the method. But if I go here and I give you that, exactly, our test context now gets disposed.
Yes.
Because we have a using. Or that's how it just works. And now we are in here again. And my problem with that, or not problem, my question mark is, this one is false. So what component is that? It's the bUnit root component, but this one, and that doesn't make sense to me. It was disposed earlier.
Are you sure?
Yes. Wait, again?
The root component was disposed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't get in there for all the other 3. So it makes sense. So
no, I think for all 4 components.
Yeah, so no, but I think it makes sense. So when you call that method dispose components, what it does, it tells the root component to don't render out the render tree anymore, right? So it is not getting disposed all its child components. So I think you counted. Are you expecting one less? So whenever you are
no. I mixed up the 4 components. We also have a cascading value inside parents, and this one was disposed. Because it's also disposable at the end. And this one I mistreated as the root component. So everything is good.
And now all the tests are, well, then we don't have a Stack Overflow anymore.
No.
So
we have a red test, but...
Yes, we have red tests. And more than we had before, but I think that might be a good thing.
But I wanted to see where is my debug point here? I know it's very, I'm quick. I'm looking for the if which is now empty. I want to remove that. And that is powers disposed compound. Exactly this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I just made the exact same change and even removed the comments there.
Exactly. Okay. Shall I anyway execute every test?
Yeah, you can do that. So I will, while you do that, I'll steal the screen again. So yeah, sorry. So let's look at another test that failed. Actually,
Ooh. Yeah, no, there's still Stack
there's still
Overflows.
overflow because yeah. So
Did you revert the change with the timeout? No. Okay. I thought so.
no, what I do think I want to revert is let's undo a bunch here. Well,
Ooh, there's one parentheses, closing parentheses too much. That's why everything is now a bit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And let's see. So if we go back to what we had before, we just had essentially this. And go to implementation. Is markup. Oh, why is that squiggled here?
The interface has the other name still. Like, is markup generation needed required? But,
yeah. Let's. So has rendered plus plus. And we call this from 3 places. We call it from update component. We call it from here. And okay, so it's just those 2 places. Here we just say if you don't exist, we say it's not because you rendered that we want to update your state. Is markup generation required? True. If markup generation was required, I guess we can just move that in there.
Yeah, probably.
And yes. Now, here, I think this is causing, if I just comment this out for now, let's see if we can get back to having all the tests run without.
Just
actually,
more. We color them a bit more red.
Yes. Well, I think we were down to 114 or something, right? But I want them to all pass without, and actually even fewer, because we now fixed the dispose thing we had before.
Oh yeah.
But at least it looks like it's not. It's so we're closer now. So this is an optimization, I guess, where we only do it if we well. So let's go and have a look at the tests that are left that are failing. So let's filter by failing test, render component test. And what does this say? Node should return new instance when a nested component has caused the DOM to change. Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. So I know what's going on there. Now, the nice thing is, and no, that's not where we want to be. We want to be here. So this test is about that we have a parent component we've returned to the user, and we do something that causes a child component to update itself, update its markup. Now, with the current code here, where we call update state, we only tell the child component to update its markup. The parent doesn't update its markup because it hasn't changed. Like, it's not part of the updated component list. So what we need to do is we need to say, well, okay, you did render, and well, so this is going to loop through. So, okay, I'm going to write some inefficient code now, but let's start with that. So our rendered component, actually, let's get it as a var component state first, and then we can cast this bad boy like so. And here we can do component state dot logical parent. What is the difference between parent component? Gets the component state of the parent component or not of its root. Gets the component state of the logical parent component.
Okay, the description does not help, to be honest.
No. So what does logical mean? So let's go and say, let's look at the code actually. Okay, so when are you set? I think. Oh, logical.
Section
outlets. I think it's something
outlets.
related to section. Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
So yeah, because if you have a component you render into a section content thing, it'll get actually moved over to the section outlet, and then it gets a different logical parent because it's now somewhere else in the render tree, right? You essentially, with sections, you move components from one place in the render tree to somewhere else. Hydrate, right? So let me just zoom out ever so slightly. Microsoft's code here isn't really super. So this is where we instantiate it. We get the parent component, and the logical component is determined by if the component itself is a section outlet content renderer. If that is, if the component is a section outlet content renderer, then I can't edit these. Oh, this is decompiled code. Let me go and do source component state. It might be easier to read here because I can't imagine Microsoft not having some break lines in there, and they had indeed. Let me know if this is large enough for you to read.
For me it is.
Here, component is section outlet component outlet container content renderer. If the component is that,
so basically it's part of a section outlet.
Then we say in the renderer find. Then the parent component states component must be a section outlet.
That makes sense.
Or we just pick.
And if this is not the case, we give this in.
I guess that is the root.
Yeah. So the logical choice would be even taking logical parent component state.
I'm not sure. I think we just do parent component state for now, but I'm not sure. Because I think that's closer to what we had before, honestly. So if we
Which
go
is
back
interesting,
here,
but
we just...
if you have a section outlet inside your test, so if in the render tree you create a scenario where you have a section outlet and you do something to fill out the section outlet, well, you effectively move around those components. But yeah, I guess we can write a test at the end.
Yeah. and parent and parent dot bool
Bool.
contains component ID int component ID is updated component, and here for now I'm just going to be okay, so we do static and then we do in render batch not all code paths return, and we say if yes, you got it, that's true, otherwise we say return false. Now, okay, so what I'm trying to do here is we want to say, hey, if we are, if we already updated the parent, there's no reason to do it again, right? But we say parent dot component ID. So if the parent component ID, and we want to say in render batch. Now, if we have a parent, if the current component we're updating has a parent, and if that parent is not part of the updated components, we will call the
update state
method. We want to call the method, say, hey, one of your children rendered, so this is going to be a, well, probably a true here. Probably actually can just do the same, because so actually probably what we want to do is we want to say, hey, if this component has any changes and that it has a parent component and that parent component isn't getting updated by itself, we can do true here. I don't know if we want to,
but you don't want to have rendered component update state.
Oh no, sorry. Yes. You are right. It's going to be the parent.
I would say.
Yeah,
you could also do is I rendered component. Oh, okay, or like that. That doesn't matter, huh?
I think I rendered component is like, no, it actually has component ID, so that's fine. Yes, so we can just do this. And then
you just call parent.update state.
Yeah. This is ugly for now, so now it's the make it work part of the equation right now. Okay, so let's all run all the tests, at least
Ooh. You did run everything. 27. Wow.
So fewer than last time, but there's still some.
That's almost ready for the main branch here.
Yes. Let's get that merged. Getting closer.
Those 25 we just ignore. Skip.
Yeah. Works on my machine.
Oh, 23.
What is it? Yeah. So that was a few less. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. So
on .NET 9 we have 3 more. Okay.
Oh, okay. No, so this is actually the logic we had here. So it's failing because it's expecting render count to be 2, but was 1. Okay. So actually, what the suggestion, I guess, is that this should be true. So our old code assumed that because the child rendered, then you also increment the parent's render count. Okay, 16, 15, 14.
Is this correct? Because you will go through the same component twice now. Is this correct? Oh.
No, no, I won't, because we basically have this updated component. So
Now, but so
y-
basically for the same component, as long as you're not a leave node, you will be called twice.
why?
And so if you have a parent-child relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and you are the
Mm-hmm.
child right now, yes? So
Yes.
basically, line 337, render component would be the child, and if you go basically in your if, that is the parent.
Mm-hmm.
But in the next render batch, you will be the render component will be the parent. So you will be there
Yes.
twice. And you
No,
will call
because we
has
have this
rendered
check.
twice. No,
We
that's
will.
no. Sorry. Okay, how do we do it visualized? Again, imagine we are the child right now. Yeah, the child component.
Yes. Yeah.
And
We have a
we go
parent.
into that for, yeah, exactly. And we go into this for loop. So on line 337, the child is invoked. So update state will be called,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. A lot of things will happen. Then
Yeah.
we will go to line 340 now,
Mm-hmm.
which will be the logical parent, or the parent. It doesn't matter if it's logical or not. We will go in and we will update that parent.
No, because if that parent
Right?
ID is all in the updated component, so we basically have the small check method here.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So that was the whole point of creating this
Yeah,
method
yeah,
here, so we don't duplicate the effort. So, so I don't think that is the case. No, I don't think that's the case. But certainly looping through this updated components list every time it could be smarter. Let's put it that way. Anyway,
well, you get a
let's
performance
see
hit
about
if you
the
have a
last
very nested tree
pause
with a
here.
lot of updates.
Okay.
Then you
Oh,
get a
hang on.
performance hit. We suspect one more render count.
Yes, let's see. So online, what is it? 200 wrapper. So
we
have
render again. Yeah, because we don't have changes. We don't have changes. This is literally the flag you introduced. But is that a fair assumption to say now one is okay?
No, so the render count here, right?
It's only incremented if has rendered is.
So
you have to
rendered
you have to remove this. Sorry, no, you have to remove this if. That's wrong in both cases. That's what we did on my. That's what we did initially, and I never ever pushed that change.
No, but I wonder. No, so I think I reintroduced that. Because we are like all the places where we are calling. If we just find all implementation, find all references, we can see we always pass through anyway. So that's not really the case. So we only so that didn't really on it, because we sort of divided this up into two. Originally on your machine we didn't have these two split.
Okay.
So I think if we go to
but I guess we will is in the render batch update components. What is in there? The second, if we call first render, I guess it's empty then.
So we say wrapper here. We wrapper and they render one time, and they should all have one render count. Then we call first the child and say, hey, go render yourself. And actually, let's
want that the child
here.
The child and its parent should be updated. That's the assumption.
Yes, I'm gonna run the test, and once we get to the first, come on, build faster. Okay, nope. That breakpoint I'm not interested in. Okay, so I'm gonna put a breakpoint over in update display async. Where are you? There you go.
Oh, I didn't.
and
It
step
works in my
over. So now
container. Well, one reason not to use Dogger though.
That's
So you
true.
can
That's
always
true.
blame someone else's configuration.
Works in my container. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's see. So this is our second. So notice both components
Well, that makes
and one
sense.
updated component. And what
And
is the
that is
updated component?
only
Let's see. Let's
the
get that
component
out of
state,
there. And let's.
that is probably
That is the simple one.
that is
The
first.
simple one. Yes,
Exactly,
that
but
is
not the wrapper.
first. Not the wrapper. Okay, so let's see. We do have, or we don't have any edits. Okay. So I know what's going on here.
Remove
So
it
we want to do this, and then we say
if it
that.
has edits.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Wait.
think.
But the diff edits from the child
So
component.
so okay. The child has rendered, but there's no diffs. So there's no reason to
parent
update
is
markup.
also not changed.
No, yeah. So
Yeah, fair enough.
I think let's run all the tests.
And if the parent, for some apparent reason, would change, then we would then we would have updated components count too. No, that's fair.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, what's up?
11 tests now. So a few less. Okay, that's and actually it's only 6 because it's .NET 8 and .NET 9. Okay, let's go in and have a look here. Okay, child component notified when properties changed. Let's see.
Can you go into the component on the test? The properties changed handler parent? I just have no idea what the component does.
I guess I could not.
I guess. It's just down there.
We want. Here we go.
Yeah, this one.
This one.
Oh, okay. Properties changed. Okay. So you click and basically provide the new value to the child. Okay. And the child then renders something.
Do this. So we have this component in the mix as well.
Okay. And that just does. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's fine.
So we have this is the component on the test, and we find the supplied value and computed value. Okay, so let's see. So we have supplied and computed, and this is just passed in here. So we do a button. We click that button, so that should set the
to 101.
Value to 100, which should cause the child component to get re-rendered with new values. Oh, okay. So it probably is, but because it's a child component, so basically now we have a change to our properties change handler parent, right? Rather, this component will show up as an updated component in the updated list in here, right? So it will be in here. The child component will not be. And we are only looking up the tree for parents and telling them to update themselves. We're not going downwards. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So we could. Okay, so so the complex solution to this is instead of explicitly going in here and doing rather going in here and going up the tree and saying, hey, parent, but you also rather needs to go, wait, hang on. I'm not convinced.
Can we check?
I understand what's going on here. Yeah, exactly.
Check what this is in updated components, because I would argue if a parent component is updated, it has to update the children
Yeah,
as well.
the child should also be part of the updated list, right? That's the whole
Yeah.
point. Okay, let's step through. So we do initial render, and we have
Guys, the count?
4, so
Oh,
that's fine.
yes, the initial render. That's absolutely okay.
Yeah,
I guess the initial
so
render
I'm going
mostly.
to do. Let me just pin this for us and pin this for us. I said pin, damn it. So you guys can also follow along. Let's put that there. So I think it's more or less large enough so you can actually see what's in here. So we have a bUnit root component. Why can't you see the ID? Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we have the container fragment. That's fine. We have the first layer component. Then we have the second layer component. Can I expand this somehow? Nope, that's not what I wanted. Well, it's the properties change handler. Go back to the, where was the test? That's here. That's the parent. And this is the child. It's annoying, it won't show me the full, but yes, this is the child. You can't see it, but it's the child component that we are updating now. So that's all fine. Now this is the second render. And now how many counts do we have? We have 2 counts.
I'm back.
Oh, you dropped.
Yeah, I maybe accidentally closed the wrong program. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So how far behind are you? So I'm just
only like a few
debugging through.
seconds.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
only a few seconds.
So yeah, we have the
so
parent
the
component
render,
was changed.
are you in the render method right now? In the second render method?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is second render cycle. And let's see. Okay, so the child is also changed. And it does have 6 diffs. So if you go in here and say update markup, and I
It
go
should.
and
Yeah, can we check the markup?
Yeah, I think we definitely can. Let me just
Awesome.
do this dot markup, and let me.
It has. I can see it's something with 2. Oh, it's yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
it does have
It
those
looks.
values.
It looks correct.
Looks all right. Yeah. So we say markup has been changed, and there's nobody listening, so that's fine. And on after render,
There's also nobody listening.
And we're done. Now, this is the interesting bit. If we say put a breakpoint here, come back here. Test cont. Oh, hang on. The find methods
The
are
find
supposed to subscribe.
methods.
So why are you not subscribing? God damn it! Stop. Stop running it.
Did we change something there? I thought not. Set there.
No, wrap using.
Queries. No, I mean it's just a query selector. So it every time you call. I thought it's the whole point of the query selector is to be,
No.
Only
so the thing is, what we have is, so if we do this,
then it's green.
Then it's
I'm gonna leave it
green.
like that, and it's obvious. Okay.
No, this is an indication that the find methods are not doing what they're used to do. Like usually they should be able to say, hey, so we saw that when find is supposed to subscribe to the parent. Oh, hang on. So parents changed handler. Let me run the test again. So the change
right.
tracker was not called, but yeah,
the markup updated
but
method
we
is
are
never
subscribed.
called.
We are subscribed to the parent. So if you go in here, and well, let's just skip over that and come down here and yeah, refresh yourself. So this is the parent. So if I go in and have a look at the parent component, I see the markup is what it is. And where is the subscribers?
This is no, because you see it as a rendered component and not. Oh no, it's interesting.
No, but you can see here. So,
Oh,
so the
there,
problem
exactly.
is,
That was
is markup generation required?
Why is it false?
It's
Well,
false because no. So it does have some that subscribed. So I think I know the problem. Go back here. So the issue is we are deciding only not to update component, but what we actually want to do is we want to say this would already have been updated if it had changes. The problem is the parent component, when we're going through here, it comes down here and says, hey, I don't have any changes, so I don't update my markup. But the child component does have updates. So what we do want to say here, and now, if we have the right component, we can say basically return, and we want to say diff.edits. If this is bigger than 0, then we've already updated the component. So
wait, what?
Is parent component already updated with the bows? So I think that'll solve it. We can just step through again here. Well, actually, no, that's fine. It was that test, wasn't it? Yes. So we get in here and we update the parent component. No, that's just the root component. Container fragment.
The fragment.
And
no, it's the parent.
Yes, and now we come in here and say child, and we don't go in here because we already been there. Now let's go further. Now it's the second render cycle. And we have the parent. The parent has 0 edits, which makes sense. We actually haven't generated any new markup for the parent, so we don't update that initially. And its parent is the component.
Isn't that not
the fragment? That's the fragment container. That's fine to update that. Now we come to the second one, and that is going to be the child. That's the child component. It does have the edits. And we come in here, and we would end up in here where let me just say, well, yeah, we do have the markup, but since this component, the parent component itself, doesn't have any changes, we return false, which means that we go in here and now we update the component and now the test will pass. There we go. Oh, and disposing is also happening. So that was, let's see if we get everything running. Oh, accidentally cancelled. Drum roll, please.
Well, only test authorization.
6 left. Okay.
All from the same category.
So let's pull out that exception error there. Expected authorized. We got authorized.
Actual is authorized, but we should not be authorized.
Okay.
Oh yeah, set not authorized, and then we re-render. Simple off here.
And I guess it's because, well,
can you go quickly into set both exactly the component and set not author? Oh, hello. Okay.
Yeah, it's literally authorizing, authorized, not authorized. Spot question mark. Okay. So And let me just
So at the beginning, it
see.
said authorized. It makes sense. So that's true. Huh? That fits.
Yeah, it's the last one that fails.
Can
So
we
I guess
quickly go into set not authorized? I guess this is just a one-liner in a invoke async, huh? We say trigger. So we are not trigger authentication state changed, and then we say you're not authorized anymore.
So I'm guessing that it's an optimization here where we don't so I think it's because we're deciding there's no changes, which is weird. There should be changes.
There is a change.
But
The
again,
cascading value is changing.
yeah, no, you're right. I agree. So well, let's step through the test and see if we understand.
Wait, the cascading value is changing, so every child should be changing.
Right.
Should.
Yeah. Okay. So we have our authorization and we have our
I guess
component
this
on the
one
test.
I guess you can just skip her because that was working as it's expected.
Yeah, let me just put a breakpoint and remove that bookmark for some reason.
Yeah, have fun. No, you don't.
No.
Disable?
Anyway,
No.
yeah, I can't remember the shortcut key. Remove bookmark. Toggle bookmark. Control BT. Oh,
but it's not the
okay,
bookmark.
No,
Isn't that the pinned rendered component thing you have there in the middle of your screen?
Control BT. Oh yeah. That's right. Never mind. So actually, I'm gonna move it up here and just say go to next. Breakpoint down here as well. Okay, so we are back for.
So now we are in the.
Yeah, so it's down here. This is our trigger set unauthorized. So that is the method that we're calling right now. So now we are expecting to see a bunch of changes. We have three components that's changed. Let's go in.
That makes sense. So the first one should be the cascading. Exactly. Yeah.
And do you have any diffs? You don't have any diffs. Fair enough.
And also parents. Your parent diff should all be empty. Yeah.
Well, actually, obviously, I want to. Yes, because there's no reason to go in and update the parent if I haven't changed. But there's also no reason to.
Wait, what? Why? Wait. Yeah, because the parent was already updated.
Hang on, let me think.
I mean, if my parent was updated, then I will be updated, and therefore my parent was updated.
No, it's fine because we have that. Don't update me.
Isn't that what you did in is parent component already updated? Basically, that check.
Yeah, that is deciding whether or not to even call.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Let's start over. I think it wasn't related. I was trying to. Yeah. Other things. Come on. So next, and component under test. Just hop out again.
Now we should be in the second render.
Component under test. Component under test. If we just go to the stack trace, that will be here. I want to see what is. That is simple off view. That's the component under test. Okay. Now, anyway, the first component is the cascading value. It doesn't have any changes.
Yes, exactly.
And still doesn't have any changes here. But the parent, which is the bUnit root component, yeah, that gets its render count updated. Now the next component, that's another cascading value, apparently. And it doesn't have any changes either. But we do go in.
But we should not get in there. Should we? Because that component was already rendered.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's why I wanted to add the diff counts back up here. Anyway, that's I think that's related to this problem.
Okay, and now we have another cascading
Now we
value.
have a component.
No.
Now we have container
Now we have the
fragment.
container fragment.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. So we had two cascading
Why?
values and the container fragment.
But not that child of the container fragment. Wait. What? Why don't we have the child of the container fragment?
I don't know. Okay. Back in the test. No, that's not that test. Done with that. Here. Oh, set authorize. I guess that's the render call that should trigger that, I guess, previously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, why are we in there
No.
again? Hey,
Yeah, let
can
me
you
see my let's see the stack.
call stack?
Where did we come? Well, we're still from,
We are still
this
in
line here.
Why again?
Maybe it's because of the asynchronous nature. Maybe it's like causes two changes. Well, let's pin this as well. So 0 there. And how many do we have? We have 3 here. And this time it's the cascading value again. And what is, let me just unpack that. That was the authenticated state cascading value. And now we have our friend, the authorization view, and still no changes in that. Okay, so now we are up there. Okay, and now we get to call, let me just have a look at the cut. What do you have in your markup? We still have authorized.
Okay, yeah, but that's expected.
I don't know if it is, but
well,
let's
set
see,
not
what do we
authorized
have?
does that.
Now we actually, our render component is the simple auth view.
Does it have some edits?
It does not.
No.
Why does simple auth view not? What is the next component? And now we're back to cascading values. Again, cascading value. Oh, here we actually do have some changes. What are my diffs? It's a remove frame, prepend frame, so that makes sense. Now, what is the component I am updating right now? That's the authorized view. So if I go in and have a look at this fella, now it says not authorized in here. But if we go and have a look at this, it's the its parent component is the cascading value, and who are your parent component?
The other one,
that's a cascading authentication state, and the parent component of
that should be the
simple auth view.
What?
And
that should be simple. Oh yeah, that's true. Sorry, yeah, that's true.
So the simple auth view.
No, the cascading. Oh, doch. Wait. I'm not sure if this is.
That's like the simple auth view. If you go and have a look at
that, can you go again?
That's this
exactly.
guy. So
there. Okay, there, and then the authorized view.
It has that, then and that. Yeah. Okay. Now the thing is, so I think I see the problem here is that we need to actually not just do the first parent. We have to go all the way up. Yep. Okay. So.
Like var current parent is and then until.
Yeah.
Well, you can leave this. We can make it ugly first. Okay.
Static bool. No, static void update parent, and then we do what do we need to do for that? We need the
component. Look at this. It's absolutely not true, but
yeah, No, yes,
But
no, it's not right.
No, not at all.
So
I mean, rendered component is correct.
yeah,
That is true.
component, and then we do if
You can take the
actually
whole thing.
we want to pass in. Yeah, okay. Well, we can just
Don't
do
you want to
the
only
casting
have this
here.
if and then you do a while?
Then there. And I do call this component state. Nope. Come on. Call it be paste. Well, component state. There we go. And we want to pass in bool as changes. And component state. Component. I know, I swear I can hit keys. Yes, so we have, no, we don't need this cast, I think, because we say if component state parent component is something like that,
It is
and
basically
it
the
has been
cast.
updated already, then we do our thing.
Yeah, and now you just have to
And
call it in a while
then,
loop.
yes, and then we say,
I would do the whole while loop in line 340. Isn't that more intuitive before you do it there?
I will say else. So parent is not null, and if parent is not null, then we not hit the top. No, parent is null, we just do return. Then we have to decide if the parent needs updating. So we check if it needs updating, we update it.
And call, only inside there I would
ourselves.
call update parent
Update
with
parent, and when we say parent here, no, we say there's changes, parent, and in.
Well, no, you
render
cannot
batch.
say has changes. You have to go through the diff again. Basically, you have to call is parent component already, like, because that's your diff, not of your parent. I don't know.
I don't think
Following.
so. No, because if we are somewhere low level, like a child component, if that has changes, we want to go all the way to the top. So,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's
No,
always
that's
always
not. Oh, okay.
update parent, not update, and it's actually update. No, that's right. Never mind.
That was
update
correct.
State. What? Oh, so here we say I rendered component. Yes. So if we don't have any parent, we're just done. We stop, recursive calling ourselves. If the parent component has already been updated, then we would already have, bubbled up the tree up to the parent because there's only ever one parent. But if we haven't, I think if we have not, we call update parent. Well, we update and then we call update parent with a
But maybe you
component.
have an issue on line 350 because parent could not pitch. Ah, no. Sorry.
I think this is fine. So we just do update parent and we pass in component state. No, we pass in
div.edits count 0.
this. We pass in render batch.
And you can drop this. I would
update parents. Okay.
Yeah, no.
So
Nice.
that's my everything builds and works test dance. Sorry about that, folks. Oh, man. Have a good weekend, Leaf. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh.
I guess he left 2 minutes ago.
Oh, nice.
But appreciate you.
Yes. If you check it out in the future on YouTube.
Yeah.
We wished you a very great weekend ahead.
Yes. We were polite and all of that.
Exactly. Our British manners.
I think that comment is also redundant. Now.
It is.
So yeah, that's good, I guess. Now, are we done? Is this is
well, there's one thing. No, there's one thing still open. Do we still need parent component or logical parent? Because we don't have any tests covering that at the moment. So there's nothing where we use section outlets. I think.
No, that is true. So I don't think we've actually, since section outlets was introduced, we don't have any real tests for it.
Right. Exactly. Do we? No, we do not.
Yeah. Let me do a proper commit here of
exactly.
So let's see, what is there's some, let's actually reset back to here.
You don't want to call it VIP?
So, no, I don't particularly.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean,
I know, man. I know.
This one you also want to revert for sure.
Yeah. Discard that change there. Well, before I do any more commitments of things, I just want to see if my test still run.
Why is it still doing something? Did you? You re-triggered. Okay.
Yes,
no.
Because I wanted to run the test. Yes, so that's still good. So definitely some. All of these seems fine. Yeah, that's the, and here we have our drop. We just have a hash set of the components we've actually returned. That's fine. Now,
wait, do we need that hash set still? That was my question initially.
Well. So technically, not right now, because we're not being smart about it. We're basically just calling. We're not using it, but I did want to avoid actually going in and using HTML analyzer to spit out markup for things we don't have. Right. So the idea would be to say, hey, go and, because has rendered will always be, we will always go and trigger and say has rendered here. So, but before, well, actually what I can do is I can just stage these. So if we try to make a little bit more, because I don't want to call render component for all the components in the render tree, like, and actually output the markup and store that, because that's super redundant and wasteful.
Yep.
So let's find where is update display async. So I guess the idea is we say if returned, no,
Contains maybe.
contains, if it contains it, we call update state. Here, again, if it does contain that parent, that would be parent.component ID. Because this is
Not static then anymore, or you just pass it down.
Yeah, I know.
Can you go up again? Now you call update state on a component twice. Not there, further up.
Yeah, you're right.
And do return components.
So
if you already contain, so if you're in the else case, up this return friended component. No. Do you really want to call in line 338 return component? Do you really want to call your? Yeah, I'm just thinking. I don't think you want to call update parents always, like always.
Yes, because I might be looking at a component that we haven't returned to the user, but we have returned its parents. So like the example of the test we were just debugging, that would be a case where it's child component that gets updated, but we haven't returned that, so that wouldn't cause an update. But I do agree that there is a redundant searching up the component tree, which might not be needed.
Yeah.
Because we do
because you were already there.
Tree. Yeah, we like so an alternative would be to say
it seems a bit exactly. So
update.
The thing is because in this for loop you go down the component tree and then in your update parents you go up again.
So here we just say, well, I've already processed this, so I'm gonna add this to diff.component ID, and in here, in the going up the so is it always so that if I am a component and the first time if I guess, well, we can say if parent is null, or parent dot so if parent is not null, or we don't so normal case we start, it's like we're rendering, we have updates to a parent component, right? So that means that we would find it here and we would update it here and we would add it to the list. Then we would update its parents. Now if the child of that parent also has updates, we will come in and update it here. We come in here and we just say, well, rather we come down here, we say update parents, and we pass in our component state and our parent, and parent is not null. Parent is because parent is not null. But then we also say, well, it already contains, its ID is already in the list. So I know I've already updated that, which means I already updated its parents, and so on and so forth. So I think.
But wait, I don't think this is necessarily true, because I guess the cascading one will break again.
Clearly not right
Yeah,
either.
clearly.
Yeah.
You only want to do this.
And we did have
we didn't
loopy loops. I wonder why.
Anyhow, I do think updated ads, you only want to do this if the diff count is 0. So diff edits counts, because if you still have edits, it could change.
Correct.
I feel like.
Correct. Yes.
What's his problem? This now? Okay. But I'm not sure if this is enough now.
Hang on. Why are we passing in true here?
Oh, what you doing?
I'm just discarding the few changes we just did. I'm not sure. Well, okay. Let's see.
I mean, they're an optimization.
It is, but I was more.
I would like
thinking
to think why they are breaking so much.
Well, let's remove this for now and see.
No.
Now that makes sense because now we're not updating all the components all the time. Let me just stop that. Get rendered component. But yes, and we have find components and trying to see why this is causing an endless loop. So update display async does its thing. Then well, so I would want to say let's optimize one thing at a time.
Exactly. That's fine.
So I guess we just say if returned contains our
diff component ID.
Component ID. Then we do the update and we update parents, and parents we also only update if it actually has been returned. Otherwise we just search up the tree again. So now I expect a bunch of tests to fail because we are not, but I want them all to, well, okay, we don't have an endless loop, but because we have the 30 seconds timeout back, it takes a while before it breaks. So yes, clearly we are trying to return components that do not behave. So basically from find component, we go to find component, and here we do have our find component in render tree. Here, after we've found the components, we want to tell them to update themselves. Maybe let's try to do that here instead of down here. So let me and this method is called where? It's called in here. And I guess that might be the reason. So get rendered component. Well, for now we just but then here we want to do for each result. That's right. I rendered component. You have to cast that because it's implicit interface.
Yeah.
And oh, no, that's not right. It's just ChatGPT that's guessing. Okay. So now whenever we do a find component, we go and basically enforce the update again. But I guess we only want to do that if rc.markup actually let me just put a breakpoint here and run just any test because sure, here we are rendering a component. Nope, I accidentally hit the wrong key combination. I want to debug, not run. Debug. Come on, you can do it. So RC and it has an empty
container fragment. And it's empty. I guess it's the initial render. So that's fine.
Yes, I was just trying to see if there was an optimization to be had. What about this guy? Oh, okay. Let me just run all the tests. I just want to see if we like. There's no reason to call this if it already has been rendered. Okay. Oh, our friend is back.
Oh.
So something about render count here, and I'm guessing it's because it actually has more render count. It should be 1, but was 0.
Oh, it didn't even render at all.
Which I
on the initial render.
Guess makes sense because it's well, no, I'm not sure. I guess I'm not sure I know why that makes sense. Well, at least we don't have things that are going update state. Well, let me take debug that. So what was T component? T component was container fragment. That was the thing we were looking for. And do you now have content? You now have content. Okay, righty. Then we have to wrapper component.
Also doesn't have content.
And now it does. Let me have a look at the call stack. Okay, so we're still here. So the markup is fine. Render count is 0. Why is render count 0?
Can we check again when it's incremented? It's somewhere in an update state.
Yeah, I think it's because we have false here. But these are the okay. So we're doing a search for each of them here. So now we have our cuts, and they all have
Render count 0.
render count 0. Okay, so I think I see what's going on here. So because we are optimizing our is update display async, that's down here. So here we're saying we're only calling update on the components. Okay, well, no. So what we actually do want to do is we want to say else false. So here we still do the update and say, hey, you did render, right? But
you don't want to invoke all the event handlers,
yeah, but
etc.
we don't pass. Yeah, we don't actually generate markup. We just update the count, which is fine. So is parent already updated? That's all good. Now, if I run all the tests again.
Ooh,
down to
yeah.
0.
Awesome.
Yeah, but then again, we can go back and do. So the theory is as long as we've updated a child, we have visited all the parents once.
Yes.
Right. So that would be var already updated new asset of it. So we can actually just add to that here and say add component state component ID. Now, so we do that when we enter in here, but here we can also then do the all contains parent dot component ID. If that's the case, then we don't. Let me put a breakpoint here. Let's see. What was a good test? Well, this I guess was a
This
good
one.
test. Yeah. Well, wait. Okay. So how did we get here? Got here. Let me just say nope. Through there. And who is this? This is my root component. And parent is null, so that's why we are in here. So we just return out, and we go another round, and we have count 5, come down here. Well, we says that's not something we have, so we just update its rendered state. And then we go in here, and we add itself to already updated. And parent is not null, but it does contain that already. I guess actually okay, I think the test just passed. Now,
Perfect. I mean,
well, that was
great.
one test out of 3,789. So let's see if all of them
Nah.
are equally happy. Oh, no.
No, there are already some red ones.
There are some red ones.
Do you want to
let's
pick this
just
up
look.
the next
Yes.
time? Awesome.
Yeah, let me undo discard this change. Let's end on a high note. Let's end with something that actually builds. And so, well, I mean, where all tests pass. So
it did build before.
it did. Well, I mean, all the tests pass. It also built. Yeah. So let's see. Spin. Okay. So yes. Now we have what is this? This is a refactor actually. Yeah, kind of. This change rendered component to inherit from component state. And I'm going to do a force push.
That's fair.
On our feature branch. Okay. I guess that's it,
Awesome.
Stephen.
Ending on a high note
Nice.
on our longest streak.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is heading in a good direction. Now, we definitely could do additional optimizations in terms of re-rendering, because in theory, we can have one string markup like on the root component. That could be the one. The root component could actually be the thing that actually has the markup for the full tree. And then each child component just needs to know which section of that markup string is theirs, is its own, right? And then if there is a change to one of the child components, that child component just, re-renders its little part, and that gets patched into the large string that is higher up. Now, it might be a nice exercise that might not actually yield any. It seems like it should be more performant, like, right? But it might not actually be.
But on the other hand, like, besides performance optimization, now we have the ability to go both directions of the rendered tree.
Yes, and in theory, because we have our own rendered component, we could also actively track child components, not just have them as using the find component and search down within render tree, but simply have a list of children underneath the rendered component. Because we have the dispose methods, we verified that they get called. So whenever a component is disposed, we can also remove that component from its parents' children's list so that they don't get out of sync. So so it might be worthwhile to have them. It might make it simpler for us to search, like the find component method might be much simpler. Because then you don't actually have to go into the render tree and pass through all the render frames there and find the components in there. You just go to the .children and then .children until you find what you're looking for, right? Might be worthwhile.
Let's see. Yeah,
remains to be seen. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
Let's do. I would still start with going up the tree because we have some mechanism for
yes.
up the tree.
Yeah. I think one open question there would be when you go up the tree, your parent is just a render component of iComponent because we like the generics are not.
Yeah, exactly. We do
Yeah,
not know
because we
exactly the
don't have
type.
like a render component of T parent component and then T component, right? I
We
guess you could
could,
have that,
yeah,
but
probably, yeah. It is probably easier as we have find component which goes down that we ask specifically what you want, and then do
you
what you
basically
did with
say
the parents, and then until I find that. That's
you say
probably
find parent
easier.
and then find parent of this
Exactly.
type and then go
Of
up
T
until you find it and then
component.
cast it. Yeah, and then you do the cast.
That's probably easier and less error prone for both
Yeah.
for our library, but also for the client.
Yeah, so you don't expose the. I guess we could expose a parent property, but have it be unspecific.
iComponent.
Then people can debug, but then again, no, it probably just needs to be a search initially.
The thing is, the cool thing is if you have something like find component or find parent, and we should call the other one not find component but find child. Probably
Find
makes more
child
sense.
components, yeah. Find child component.
That it behaves the same. You do not want to have your direct ascent, like descended or ascended. You just walk up as far as you want, and in both directions. So it would behave the same.
Find component or default basically because it would be.
Yeah, exactly. And I would do the same with the parent.
Yeah,
it's not the direct parent, but could be the parent of the parent, and so on. I do think it makes API wise more sense to have it that way. It behaves like defined component now, which we should rename.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think this is on the right track. Yeah. Anyway,
cool thing. Thanks.
I do think. Let me double check.
We have some open changes even on the V2 branch. We could make another. How's it called? I mean, we can merge in theory your stuff and make a preview. I don't see much speaking against that, to be honest. I would be in favor.
Okay.
Because we have a test bed, which is true, but I guess there are still open things like section outlet, like probably other things we don't have on our radar right now.
I will just create a PR immediately, and then we can have the CI pipeline also up on.
Confirm that with not such a beefy CPU like you have.
Well, exactly, yeah. So it might be that there can't merge automatically. It doesn't want me to merge feature component state into V2. It's because
maybe we should rebase. Because we changed something on main. Just make a rebase V2. That should do the trick.
Sorry, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. So I'm just going to share my screen again, so you can help me out. So now I'm on V2. Yeah. I'm going to pull.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see they don't have
these are the same.
They don't have a
and then
common ancestor.
Rebase there.
Which should not yield any.
It does because that's been force pushes since.
No, sorry, I mean yield any merge conflicts.
No,
there shouldn't be.
Not.
Because there was just some
there.
Some package
now we
update
have
probably.
A clean. Let me just create that pull request.
And then you have how many commits? Can you go up?
I have 2 commits.
Yeah. But I'm not sure why you cannot merge that.
Make rendered these are like one. These are just.
Yeah, you can squash them.
Yeah.
But we can also squash them once we merge the PR.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I just want to check if it's at the end green.
Yeah, our checks are all good, and then that would be squash and merge here. Okay, I'll monitor this while it runs in the background. Let's call that a stream, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stephen.
And
always a pleasure coding with you on a Friday.
I do think we will see us next week. At least from if I look into my
I do so.
schedule.
I do. I was just quickly checking my calendar. Well, that's the 3rd of May. I have nothing in here that should be blocking us for now. So hopefully
Awesome.
so.
Good.
Have a great weekend,
Thanks for hanging
everybody.
out.
You too, Steven, as well.
You too. Exactly.
And
Yeah. Enjoy your summerly weather with a few
well,
plus
exactly.
degree.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coding with us. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
And